Of my amazing um, teaching series. So right now I'm going to be like talking about MCP, which is Model Context Protocol. So there's a whole new vibe going around about the importance and the usefulness of MCP. And so MCP is very cool. It's a very amazing and cool new feature that gives LLMs the ability to do so much, so great things. And so I'm just gonna be doing a project based on MCP. I'm also going to be giving some explanations about what MCP is and how it is all connected in the next phase of how LLMs are going to be useful for developers. So MCP is simply Model Context Protocol. So yeah, but before we dive deep into MCP, I want to give like step-by-step explanation on to how we got where we are right now. Yeah, so the very first thing we want to understand here is LLM. So most of us must have known must know what LLM is, what LLM are, and they are large language models, and they are basically trained upon billions and hundreds of billions and trillions of words from different sources, and from that they get their huge capability. And what they simply know how to do is they know how to predict the next words, and they have a lot of use cases. People use it to write codes, translate languages, summarize text, answer questions. So there are a whole lot of capabilities that LLMs are actually having at the moment, and there are also new ones that are being unlocked. So yeah, but one of the drawback of LLMs is that left on their own, LLMs cannot do so much apart from being able to respond to prompts. So there's a whole lot of prompt engineering that has to be done before LLMs can be able to give you uh, uh, answers that are optimal for your use case. So the whole vibe around prompt engineering is because of the fact that LLMs left on their own, they are not so smart, and they need to be given prompts that are very accurate for them to give you very useful results. Okay, so that is LLMs. And the next level of applying LLMs is in what we call AI agents. So an AI agent is simply an LLM paired with a tool. So when you have an LLM together with a tool, it gives you what we call this AI agent. Take for instance, you're working on an SQL database, and you, instead of you wanting to like write out your SQL code to like get a query and send it to your database, you want to rather be able to like write in like a text. Like you just want to do something like writing a text which the LLM can understand, and then produce an SQL code which is now sent to the database. Instead of you going through the whole experience of writing SQL code, which might be time consuming, or maybe you are not in the mood of writing an SQL code at that time, you can just write in a prompt which a query which is which countries customers spend the most. So this is like a database that has information about customer spending from different countries. And so instead of you writing SQL code, you can just write in a prompt of words, and then this relates with the LLM, the land language model. So in this case, this agent was utilizing the GPT-4.0 mini model, and by being able to relate to that LLM model, which now writes the SQL code, it's now able to write out a script that it gives to the database, and the database simply now returns just the answer, which in this case was returned as customers from the US spend the most with a total amount of 523. So you can see that you don't need to write that SQL code, and what enables this capability is the whole fact that you are having an AI agent, which is simply put a tool combined with an LLM to be able to give you responses. So that was like the next stage from LLMs. So there are other use cases where you have AI agents, like let's say you have pandas data frame. You want to know, for instance, you want to know how many rows are there in this data. So instead of you writing the Python script to do that, you just want to just use like a speech to be able to do that, and then you can just instantiate this LLM, which in this case I think we are using the GPT 3.5 Turbo from OpenAI, and then instead of you writing the Python code, just put in how many people have more than 3 siblings, and then the code responds, and then it gives you back the response 30 people have more than 3 siblings. So you see that basically you are utilizing the LLMs together with certain tools to be able to get results, and this is where the AI agent comes in. But for the next stage, which is where we are going to, which is where I'm going to be talking about, which is the MCP server. MCP server doesn't just give you the ability of LLM to utilize different tools, but it also creates a sort of client that is able to like integrate all these different tools together. So you don't just have that you are solely relating with a particular tool, but in this case you are having various tools combining together, and they are working together to give you a huge functionality which is being moderated by the LLM. So in this case, you can see that maybe I'm having tool A, which is the Google Maps, tool B, which is like a Google Drive, your tool C, which is your GitHub, and you want to be able to like do something amazing. Maybe you have like a code you want to pull up from your Google Drive, which you want to work on, and then which you want to send to GitHub. So all this you have to utilize like an MCP server to be able to like do a project in that kind of manner. So there's so much capabilities that MCP gives to you. So the MCP is the ability that helps LLM to kind of integrate a sort of system that is able to bring in the capabilities of these different tools together and merge them together to give you a very complex and refined solution. So another way to look at it again is this: you have like your MCP server from different applications or tools. So you have an MCP server with Slack. You have an MCP server with your Google Mail. You also have one from your calendar, and you are all connecting to your MCP client, which is like run on Cloud AI or Cursor AI, and then it's able to like blend everything together to like give you like a very a great or complex functionality. So there's so much to learn from MCP servers. I'm going to be doing like a sample demo project in this video, but in future videos I'm going to be doing a very much complex application of an MCP server where I'm going to go deeper into how they can be used in a lot of more use cases. But one of the things you need to understand about the MCP is the MCP architecture. So you have the MCP server made up of three main kind of core parts, which is your resources, your tools, and your prompts. So your tools are those functions that the LLM has the ability to call. So we're going to be creating some tools in this tutorial. Then the resources are like the data, which helps to like define how your tools relate with them. So you need tools to relate with resources, and you need your resources which are being like operated on by your tools. So the tools and resources go hand in hand, and then you could have API responses as your resources, and then the prompts are like predefined templates which are kind of used to know exactly how the LLM is supposed to work on the task. Okay, so yeah, we're going to be seeing this in the project. So for this explanation of an MCP server, I'm going to be building an MCP server that is able to like understand like a high school student holiday management. So you have students who want to like apply for like holidays within their school. So you want to build like a server that has the ability to know the number of students that the school has, know which students have holidays left, and be able to help students apply for holidays. So instead of you going around doing that by yourself on those database, we're just going to be having like the MCP clients relating with those tools and doing the function by itself. So you have no business interacting with database. All you just need to do is just to be interacting with the MCP host, which we're going to be using Claude for this project, and then from there it's going to be making all the necessary relationships between the resources and the tools and getting the whole job done for you. So you're going to be seeing how it's going to be done. So yeah, you want to go to your VS Code, and then you can create like a blank project folder, which I've done here, and this one is like the latest MCP, and just right click and you open integrated terminal, and the very first package you want to install is UV. So then you go pip install UV, and then okay, I've already installed it already, that's why it's showing me that. So the next thing you want to do is then you want to pip install MCP, which is model context protocol, and you could also find it there. And then I think one of the things I also would do in this case, I always love to like initialize a particular environment, which is like the project working environment. I want to use like this Python 3.112 environment for this project, and so in this case I just put UV VM, which is like initialize this not really initialize, more like create this virtual environment, and after creating it I go ahead and I activate it. After creating the environment, you have to activate it, and then that has been activated. So the next thing I want to do, I'm just following the documentation from this pypi.org project, MCP project, which gives you like a sort of guideline onto how you can like deploy the MCP server. So I'm just copying like the instructions that are being given here. So the next instruction would be to add this MCP client. Command C. Okay. Okay, yeah, I have to initialize a project first. So the first thing, you put UV in it, and then it creates sort of folders on the folder, some files in the folder, and then the next thing you add, and then it does that. Okay, then yeah, so we are ready to now start working on the main.py file. So to populate this file, what you just need to do is just to look at this this fast server. So this is like an instance where they want the backend server to be doing some addition operation. That is, the tool is just to add the inputs they get. So the MCP client receives input and then adds them up together. That's like a very basic project. But for what we're going to be doing, I'm building like a project that helps manage student holiday management, where students can apply for holidays within the school. Usually, for this project, I assume that every student has 10 free days to apply for like holidays or leave, maybe for health reasons, maybe not health reasons, maybe just for like taking a break from school. Maybe you have your parents doing some vacation, you want to take a break, or maybe you are involved with some activity in a particular place and you can't make it to school, so you just want to apply for to be excused for those days. So all these kind of different possibilities are going to be handled by this resource, which is like the MCP client. Yeah. So so how do you go about doing that? And what I just simply did, I came to copy this code here, client the server, and I gave it to ChatGPT. I told ChatGPT to like give me a sort of recreation of a server that can work for handling that kind of task. You understand, that kind of student holiday management task. And so it kind of redefined it, and then it gave me this refined code. So right now, working with LLMs to create code is kind of like the next level of programming, which most programmers should be expected to be able to do. So you might not have to start thinking from scratch on every coding project. You might just utilize the capabilities of LLMs to be able to fulfill that. So for this, I specifically gave the instructions to create a database of 5 students where they have a school ID, the date of birth, their grade, and then the holidays left, the holidays taken, and the holidays taken are going to be in the format of month, day, year. Specify that. So just have to give like predefined specific instructions to LLM to create the particular code you want, and then that got me this. I'm going to take this, I'm going to take it to this main.py file. I'm going to attach it there. Okay. Yeah. So I need to delete these other ones. Okay guys, so back to the project. Okay, so here we are, and I've already like put in the code back here. So you could give it a name you want: high school holiday management, you can use high school application manager or high school holiday management application, whatever name you want to use, and then these are the name of the students. And then you could see that this is like a resource. This is a resource. Why this is the tool. So this is one of the tools I'm going to be using, which is request leave, one of the tools that is created. So I told you that yesterday that in the previous slide that they have resource tools and functions. So this is a tool, and this is what helps to request the leave, and it involves writing some code to pull up student records and request for leave and it also checks if they have enough days in open for application. They have they use more than their 10 days, they can no longer be able to request for leave. And there's another tool again that can check your leave status to know how many days they have left, to know if they have exhausted their number of days. That is another tool. Another tool is to cancel the leave in case maybe they've applied for a leave, they no longer want it. They can go ahead and cancel it by still utilizing that client by utilizing the MCP client. So now you just have your resource, and then you have this like information which just gets pulled up. Say welcome to the leave management system, get a personalized greeting. So so this is like a prompt, personalized prompt. So so we're ready from the main.py file is set up. So the next thing we go and do is to install the Claude desktop client. So this is the brain of the project, desktop. So depending on the system you use, you install, depending on your OS, you install the Claude desktop that meets your use case. So just come here to Claude.ai, and then you're gonna see open different OS available. You have for Windows, you have for Mac, and for the system I'm using right now, I've downloaded one already. And so yeah, so after doing that, you put in your code, and then the next thing you do is you run this code, uh, uv run mcp install, then you call in the name of the main Python file, which in this case is main.py. Some of you might be using app.py for your file. For you just put uv run mcp install main.py. Ensure that you've saved this code first. Ensure that you've saved this code, and if you haven't saved this code, it's not gonna work. So you have to save this code first, and then next thing you do is you put in your uv run mcp install main.py. So it's going to take some time, and then it's going to return, tell you need this. Yeah, added server high school management application manager to Claude, successfully installed. So after that, you go to your Claude folder, and then you're going to see this tool come up here. You're going to see it come up here, and then you can now start relating with it. To ensure that you have it first, you just come here, check search and tools. Then you're going to see something here, high school application. Then you're going to see these tools, request leave, check leave status, cancel leave. Okay, so I want to ask hello, I want to check the status of students with ID S003. So it's gonna go through the whole database, and then it's gonna return. You can see that right now it's interacting with the various tools it has to try and reach out to me with information. So you see that I don't do so much work. It's just pulling up the information for me, telling me that okay, I've checked the leave status for student ID S003, and here the details. The name is Kathleen with ID 003, holidays 9, grade 9, holidays left 10, and then holidays taken none. Then I'll say okay, apply for a 2-day leave, for Kathy on December, let me just put December 25th and December 26th, 2025. Okay, so apply for a 2-day leave for Kathy. So you're gonna see it's going to now pick up the request leave tool and do the whole thing for me, and then I don't have to do so much. So you're gonna see it's gonna tell me back, say I've successfully requested leave for Kathy for December 25th, 2026. The leave has been approved. So you can see that then it just goes ahead to tell me again that the days approved, 2 days, holidays remaining 8 days. So you see that it's doing a whole lot of management for me that I don't have to take care all on my own by just utilizing the different tools that I've already pre-built through that my code. So you see that this is how MCP makes work easier. I'm still going to be doing other videos to show you how to use it for like Slack and for other much more, let's say, work efficient tasks, which I believe it still empowers us to do that. So there's a lot of possibilities of MCP, and I'm gonna be learning more. I'm gonna be releasing more new content, so just watch out for this space. Yeah, so hit like and subscribe, and yeah,